I vividly remember a story that Gabor Mate told on a podcast about arriving back home from a long flight, and his wife forgot to pick him up from the airport because she was in her art studio and getting lost in the process, and it happens. Intellectually, he very well understood that these things happen. There was no ill intention, but emotionally, he was so affected by it because he had been abandoned as a 2-year-old, and that was a deep trauma that still sat with him. At the time of the podcast, he was in his early 70s, I believe. Right? So 70 years later, that experience was still with him. And even though intellectually he had processed it all and it made no sense to feel this way, he still couldn't look at her for hours. He was so upset, even though he has no grounds for it other than his own experience from back then. So he said it used to be a week that he couldn't look at her when this sort of thing happened. So he's come a very, very long way, but it's still with him. And I see that in the supervision room all the time, and I see that in the coaching room all the time, that experience it myself, for sure. Not to that degree of trauma. I'm very lucky, but most people have had small t, big T traumas, experiences in their lives that deeply affect them emotionally, even though logically, intellectually, there's no grounds to feel that way anymore. We've understood that, right? So, but I see this all the time, coaches getting triggered in some way when they work with their clients, or coaching clients getting triggered when they're with their partners or at work. Something happened and they've worked through all the intellectual cognitive stuff, but emotionally it's still affecting them. Which brings up the question, can we actually change? And there's many coaches who are very visible and very loud who say anything's possible and you can heal from anything and you can change into whoever you'd like to be. And I know this not to be true. Many things can be repositioned, healed, fixed, changed. Absolutely. But there's some things that will probably stay with you for the rest of your life. We can learn to navigate them so that they affect you less long. But the goal, I think, with those kind of experiences, not to never experience it, is to quickly catch yourself as you are experiencing it and try to navigate it so that it's affecting you as little as possible, or that you can still go about your day, or that you can still have healthy relationships, right? But so many people I see, they set themselves the expectation not even to experience the thing in the first place. And I don't think that's a very helpful goal to have, because in these kind of things, you're just going to blame yourself for not doing it right, when some things they will be with you forever. They've become part of who you are, and it's not that it can't be affected, but you cannot make certain things go away completely forever, right? So I think that's really important, because it moves the goalpost to a point where you can celebrate how quickly you bounced back from this experience, how quickly you were able to catch yourself and, course correct, make amends, maybe apologize, or, retreat, whatever you need to do to make it right or to live with it. And that's a much more realistic, normalized version of what life and existence is about. And the peace of mind that comes from that is enormous in my experience. So I don't know who needed to hear that right now, but, I hope it works for you.